Testing 1 2.
Testing.
All right, let's get started. Hello and welcome to the SpiderCast PodCast. This is the podcast where father and son we go down the rabbit hole of talking tech, gaming, and the meaning of life. So we're back.
We are back.
Yeah, almost didn't be back.
Don't look at me on that one.
I have to look at you.
Yeah, it was almost my fault.
Yeah, well, it kind of is your fault. So, if anybody who's a regular on his channel, unfortunately, you will not be seeing him a whole lot.
You will not be seeing me daily.
Yeah, you will not see his daily streams. Unfortunately, his grades have slipped a little too much, and so he has lost all gaming privileges, console, PC, otherwise.
Until proven that I can stay up.
Right. So now, as far as the podcast is concerned, we're still doing the podcast. We're actually doing it on my machine in my room. That's why there's a blue screen or blue sheet here behind me instead of the red sheet. And we are going to still do the 12-hour live stream. That will be the one day he gets semi-privileges. And actually, a bunch of us, I think, are going to pass on and off and do different stuff. So I'll be gaming a little bit. He'll be gaming a little bit. We'll be gaming a little bit together. I think even our friend Doc may be joining us for that.
Sidious might pop in.
So yeah, it'll be kind of a smorgasbord of different games, and we're gonna play. We've pretty much agreed we're gonna play through the ages. We're gonna play Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Atari. I mean, we're gonna go through the gambit of different games that we're gonna.
And
play.
we're gonna see how much we suck at it.
Oh, we're gonna suck badly.
Welcome to the Street Fighter tournament.
Oh, well, we're going to talk about Mortal Kombat today, so that's kind of fitting. Today, I'm drinking Ski. This is one of my favorites. For anybody who doesn't know, Ski's kind of somewhere between a Mountain Dew and a Mellow Yellow. That's the best description that I can...
Yeah, it's kind of
the
way I would say it.
It's a bit of a regional soda, and we're soda people. No
doubt about it.
You know, it's hilarious. There's that whole soda versus pop thing, and
I say pop more than I do ever soda, but I will still call it soda or soda pop.
I can go both ways. Hold on a second. Excuse me.
Don't die.
Yeah, I'm still sick, so you'll have to excuse any coughing that may come about.
Coke.
Yeah, I'm switching back and forth. But anyway, so
that's going to be a disgusting combination.
that Coke's about gone. So, but I'm gonna crack open this.
But you tried to mix in my crush. That would be horrible.
Oh, that would be horrible. So I'm gonna crack it open, and you'll see me drinking the Ski. It's not sponsored or anything, but if any soda pop companies want to feel like they want to sponsor us and send us some free stuff, feel free to join us in that craziness.
I just realized we're wearing like our two favorite things, Deadpool and Star Wars.
Very true. Very, very, very true. So today's episode, we're gonna do some Star Wars talk. We're gonna talk about the EA canceling another Star Wars game.
Oh, like that hasn't been heard of before.
Oh yeah. And then we're also going to talk about the Star Wars theory fan film fiasco thing that's been going on, and kind of give our opinions about what may have went down, and honestly, some of the backlash people have been giving the Star Wars theory guy. It's kind of weird, but
wait, towards him or towards
him, and we'll get into that here in just a minute. We're also going to talk about pizza vending machines, which is probably a topic.
I did see something about that, and holy crap, I know it's been around for a few years now, but finally, that's all I have to say.
You know, we'll obviously we'll
dive more into that.
We'll dive into that. And then we'll talk a little bit more. There's some more info about the Radeon 7 from last week that we talked about.
Oh yeah, we did talk about that.
So a little short on the topics. I'm sure we'll go down some weird rabbit hole.
Oh, we always do.
It was a little light in the
news
this week, so.
But we are going to be saying our speculations about MK11.
Yep, we will talk about Mortal Kombat 11 because that was kind of the last minute thrown in from this week.
Because you mean really just fully heard about that, yesterday?
I think stuff started popping out yesterday or day before or something like that. It's been in the last couple of days that that announcement was made and kind of...
Oh, wait, we forgot one of the overviews. We are talking about the Pinkertons today as well.
Oh, yes, sorry. Yeah, we are going to talk about Pinkertons Rockstar.
That one is an interesting one.
Yep, and we're gonna
no one knew about that.
And we're gonna give our kind of a because up until the point in which he lost his games, he was deep in
Chapter 4.
Chapter 4.
I wouldn't say deep. It's just I was rounding off some stranger missions and starting into it.
Yeah, you were well into Chapter 4. I have just reached Chapter 4, so I think we've played enough hours to give kind of our initial review.
Irishman.
Yeah, well, let's not go there. We don't want to give any spoilers.
Nope.
All right, so
all I will say is I will do a overview of the game after I finish it at some point.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the ending once we get there. So EA canceling another freaking Star Wars game. Big freaking surprise.
Yeah, Disney needs to do something about EA.
EA either just needs to throw up their hands and just give it up and say we just can't do it, or Disney needs to step in and go, you're not making any money for us. We're going to take it back.
In fact, I think they're losing money for Disney.
Well, not necessarily, because the way that this stuff normally works is that companies will go, like, either Disney will go to a company or a company will go to Disney and say, "Hey, we want your IP. We want to make money. We want to license it." So they'll pay a fee for so many years, over the course of so many years or whatever.
How long does EA have left on their contract? Yeah, I'm hoping it's not too much longer.
I don't recall the exact. I want to say it was a 10-year contract, but I could be completely wrong.
Okay, the Star Wars Battlefront, and that was what?
We've had 2 games. That's the problem. We've had 2 games.
Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 1, Star Wars
Battlefront 2. Yeah. So, and supposedly the backstory of what everybody's saying this time around, EA just basically they had taken a game that they had sort of started with Visceral, which was another company that EA obviously owned. They shut them down, moved it to another studio. They kind of reworked it. We're starting to do something a little different. The problem is that it just doesn't. They want this big open world game,
which I feel like they could do,
which can be done. It's obviously it's.
I mean, with the vast planes that they put into Star Wars Battlefront 2. I feel like they could really do that.
Well, the thing is, probably a lot of that, if they take a lot of the art and all the digital stuff that's already been created for Battlefront, they could probably push that into another game and use like the models and stuff like that.
Something I found very interesting, which is something EA could have done for this game.
I'm sorry.
Loud thump. Something EA could have done for this game, and I actually saw Treyarch do it with their Battle Royale mode for Black Ops 4. They took certain parts or like very famous maps from their games and put it into the open world. They put it in the map. Well, that's something EA could have done. Took in their maps.
There's a lot of content, and the thing is that they, like I said, they have already built a lot of media content, a lot of the 3D modeling, and a lot of the stuff.
All they need to do is spruce it up, put it at some point in the timeline, and say here,
build a story, and throw it out. I mean, it's not rocket science, it's really not. But ultimately, what the problem is, the EA is going, we want money, we want money, we want money. It's not fast enough.
Microtransactions.
Let's not even go there. So they basically the story that we're being told through obviously this is backstory or back channels and all that stuff is that the development wasn't happening fast enough, so EA just like, screw it, we're gonna shut it down, we're done, we're gonna do something completely different, and it's horribly disappointing. And it's funny, there was I don't know who originally may have done the posting, but there was a post that showed all the video games that Lucasfilm or LucasArts studio, when they used to do their own video games, showed all the games they did in like a 5-year period, and then they showed a 5-year period for EA, and there was 2 games, and it was like, you look at the LucasArts, there's like 10 games.
Yeah, I remember some of the like X-Wing Fighter.
Yeah, and don't be wrong, some of those games weren't very good, and that's.
I was sucking for the space battles.
Yeah,
so, GameCube.
Well, honestly, in Battlefront 2, that's all I play.
Well, no, X-Wing Fighter for Star Wars GameCube.
Well, yeah, you did have that on GameCube. Actually, I think we still might have that on GameCube.
I think we do.
I don't think we ever got rid of that one.
No, that was our favorite game, I think.
But I mean that's ultimately the horrible thing about EA is all they care about is money. they got no love for the IP. And frankly, I think LucasArts, Disney needs to let LucasArts rebuild a game studio.
They need to let them do what they did best.
Well, the thing is that because it was a division of LucasArts, so but it was.
You had Lucasfilms and you had LucasArts.
Well, the LucasArts is a kind of a two thing. One is a digital production studio, and the other one, and then they kind of spun it off a little bit, and they had for a while they had their own little game studio. What Disney needs to do is they need to buy up a couple of game studios, bring in those people. And just
tell them,
and do,
hey, you're LucasArts now.
Whether it's they call it Lucas Media or Lucas Gaming Arts or something, and just throw the Disney IPs at them and let them build Disney IP games and just have fun with it. They're really just.
I mean, there are so many great ideas out there for games.
Yeah.
With EA doing what they're doing to Star Wars, because I know they're going to be part of Anthem, I really hope they do not play that bull crap. Oh, the game wasn't ready, so we're just going to cancel the whole darn thing.
Yeah. Well, Anthem's on the.
I
last
actually saw a new
stretch.
trailer for it.
Yeah, it's on the last stretch, and there's a lot of content that's starting to. There's a lot of news that's starting to roll out for Anthem.
I'm really excited about it.
See, I'm not, but Anthem.
When is this supposed to be? February or March? It's one of the two.
Something like that. We'll obviously we'll talk about it when it comes out and some reviews are hitting the airwaves. I'm not excited for Anthem at all, mostly because for the same reason that I'm not into Destiny.
If BioWare can come back from what they did with Mass Effect 3,
which I think was trash.
I'm going to be happy with Anthem. I want to give Anthem a try.
Yeah, I mean, I totally understand that, but like I said, I'm not interested in that genre at all. I don't have the time. As it is, we'll talk about the Red Dead. I've got so much crap in that one right now. All right, so we'll move on to the next one. Next one is talking about this Star Wars Theory fan film. If you could scroll down slightly in the.
Yep, I'm trying not to hit anything here.
Yeah. We're a high production studio. That's all I can say.
We try.
Yeah, we try. So anyway, Star Wars fan theory film. Star Wars Theory is a YouTube channel, very popular. It's got like 1.5 million plus.
See, I never heard of
subs. It's one of the big ones out there. So he decided he wanted to do a Vader fan film.
Okay. I think I saw the first episode.
Yeah, and the thing is, he wanted to do it right. So he had direct contact with Lucasfilm. And when he had direct contact with Lucasfilm, they told him what he could and couldn't do. He couldn't fan film. He couldn't monetize. He basically had to pull it out of his own pocket. He even said he offered to, if he could fan film or fan fund it, let them monetize the video. And they basically said there could be no monetization because it wasn't directly a direct sponsored Lucasfilm product. So
they could have sponsored it.
Well, the thing is, then you get into the whole. It has to fit into the core. The proper timeline.
It can't go against canon.
Right, it can't go against canon. Things like that. Which this fan film definitely goes against canon.
Oh, definitely.
But it's a cool film. I've watched it.
I thought it was a very interesting take on it.
There was some. I would say there's some highs and some lows. Just a critique. There's some things that I think it could have done better. I will say there's a scene where
all I can say is they definitely got the clones right. They still can't hit worth crap.
Yeah, still can't hit nothing. Like I said,
they came close.
But anyway, so one of the really cool scenes was, and in fact, the Star Wars Theory guy actually played the Vader in that scene.
Oh, he did do Vader. Okay.
It's a scene where he's in his
pod. Or was it
kind of pod, whatever you want to call it, almost like back to tank type of thing, but he's not really in a back to tank. So he's
repair module,
right? So you see him; he's got no arms, no legs. He's being held up by machines. And
he wakes up,
and he kind of wakes up from a dream, which is part of the whole
beginning scene
of the thing. And so it just looks awesome. That's probably, and the weird part is like the
Yeah, I
things
actually
the
really
things that
liked
I normally will just, especially when it comes to fan type of stuff or amateur type of stuff, I think they did a really awesome job. Like the CG scenes with
You can tell they put time into it.
but it's like the scene between Vader and Palpatine.
Which one?
The kind of the back and forth in the dream sequence. For one,
you can't kill me, and
yeah, I think Palpatine talked too much, and even Sidious said he kind of felt like Sidious was talking too much.
Sidious was talking too much.
I also felt that there was a scene where it showed, what would be Padme and kind of a younger Anakin.
Okay, the Anakin was definitely not. They could have probably found someone closer.
I think what they should have done, it should have been more of a.
But the young Padme was almost on point. It should have been
like a 3/4, like it should have showed the silhouette, the backside, and hear Anakin talking. Like the voice was fine for me, but it was the look of the kid.
Yeah,
the look of the character just didn't quite fit right. The guy that played Palpatine looked really good. He looked better than I thought he was going to from some of the previous stuff that he had put out beforehand.
The Darth Vader costumes were really good.
Yeah, Darth Vader was spot on.
I feel like the one that was playing Padme in that kind of like dream sequence was really good. Looked the part.
She looked much better than the Anakin, but I still think they should have done a little more, less of her face, like that being less of a focus and more on Vader.
And that storyline technically takes place 8 months after Order 66
it's supposed
or
to be
Anakin's demise?
Yeah, it's supposed to be something like that. But anyway, go out and find Star Wars Fan Theory.
Definitely go check his channel out.
Yeah, check his channel out. Especially if you're a Star Wars fan, go watch it. It's pretty cool. But moving on, so he paid out of pocket, paid well over like $100,000 of his own money.
Holy crap!
And put this thing out, and it was hitting up. And he even said, if he had been able to monetize it, he would have already made most of his money back in less than a month on what he put into it. And basically, what happened was he paid for a composer to do a John Williams style musical score for it, and Warner Chappell, which is kind of a
they're the group that does all the Disney music, houses it, and makes it.
If you want to call it the distribution house for, like RCA Records or, Capitol Records, stuff like that. They're a distribution. They hold the rights to distribute and the monetization of all the Disney music. And his video was manually flagged, saying that it had the Imperial March, which there were some hinted notes in the music score. There was no doubt about that. And so they turned on monetization for them to get money from his film, and he was a little upset about that, especially considering he was told that it can't be.
Now, see, here's the thing. What was it, like 3 notes or something?
It was probably more than that, but it wasn't a lot.
Now, I was talking to Sidious about this in our spare time, and he said it was like a 2-second part.
Yeah,
and even sampling rights would allow you to do up to 10 seconds of any song that's out there, no matter the copyright.
And I guess and the other thing was that his MCN, which is kind of like his YouTube agent, if you will, that's kind of what they do, talked to Warner Chappell.
Agent.
They basically told them, there's nothing you can do. We're going to monetize it. And if you want, you can appeal it if you want to, and we're going to strike your channel, and we're going to take the video off YouTube. And they were dicks about it. And I think that's kind of where he was a little bit more pissed off about it, and I kind of I totally understand why he was kind of ticked off.
I would be mad too.
Because he like I said, he
put a lot of his own money into it.
Right, he put his own money into it. It's his film, and he felt kind of betrayed. At first, he wasn't 100% sure who it was. He wasn't sure if it was actually Disney. And Warner Chappell's name was obviously on it, but it had like Disney and Disney Music and all that, Lucasfilm and all that stuff on it, because those are all things that they control in the group. So he made a video. It went pretty viral. Social media just blew up. I mean, it was actually on some like major news websites. I mean, I think was it Newsweek or something? There was a couple of like legitimate news was reporting about this, And
see, I never heard about this throughout this whole debacle until
we start having the discussion about it. So, like I said, there was some back and forth. They ultimately said pretty much, you can do whatever you want. We're gonna monetize it. We're gonna, it's ours.
How much money did they make? Like $85,000 off of it before.
Like I said, it was over $80,000 he could have made if he could have monetized it. So basically, what happened was he did like 3 videos, and it was almost back to back. It was like almost like 3 days in a row, and a lot of there's sort of two fans in the flame here. Some of them, a lot of people are going, well, it's Disney. They own the rights to all that. They can do whatever the hell they want. The other one, and they felt like he was whining. He was complaining and whining. And, and then there's the other one, the other group that was pissed off that he went through the right channels. He did everything he was supposed to do. And, they basically had told him it can't be monetized. We can't do it. You can't do it. And then they did it. And then, a division of them did it anyway. So ultimately what happened was the fans blew the fuck up. I mean, they went off. I mean, they were blowing up social media, Lucasfilm, all that, and created such a stir. And obviously, like I said, this thing had made major news media online, at least. And so apparently Lucasfilm stepped in, told Warner Chappell to take down the claim, and they did. And in his words, they executed Order 66 against Warner Chappell, and rightfully so. To me, this is a no-brainer. Like I said, he did everything he was supposed to do. He went through the right channels. He did exactly what he was told he couldn't do. And then, like I said, they kind of stepped in and was like, well, we're going to make money on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was talking to Sidious because I think you were doing something at the time when it was right after we watched it, and it was we were talking basically this analogy. Star Wars theories, the small brother. Warner Chappell's the little bigger brother. Lucasfilm's daddy. Little brother got daddy, take down big bro.
So a lot of, like I said, there a lot of people was like, well, he got what he deserved. He was using some music that was, like the Imperial March, and it was a really strange debate that I had on.
Now, see, I didn't really hear any of the Imperial March in the music.
Like I said, there's a like one section that's got the, the first set of notes basically.
Dun dun dun. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm glad that things ended up the way they were. Like I said, I would be pissed too, and as like I said, to me, he did what he was supposed to do. And,
yeah, he went through all the right channels, did what he had to.
And I don't blame him one bit for, like I said, being mad. And like I said, I was really surprised because I posted it on one of the other Star Wars groups that I'm involved in, and it also involves another podcast YouTube channel. And I was really surprised at the kind of rebuttal everybody had from that group. It was like, well, of course they're going to do it. He's just whining like a little baby. I'm really surprised about that. That was not the reaction I thought that group
and
was
really, they're
have.
kind of big Star Wars people too.
Yeah, like I said, that was not the reaction.
I kind of thought they would be, because they're little guys in the whole thing too.
Yeah.
I thought they would be supportive.
Yeah, I thought so too, but it was kind of a strange thing. All right, moving on. Since we strung that one out quite a long time.
Oh, but that one would need to be talked about.
Yeah, so pretty much next thing up is going to be the real Pinkertons sue Rockstar about Red Dead Redemption 2. And
I kind of laughed when I found this one out.
I laughed.
I'm the one who let you know about it.
I laughed in the respect of, like, I knew who they were. Like, I remember a little bit of talk about them in history class.
See, I'd never heard anything.
I don't think you guys would have talked about it. It was a very brief moment in world or American history, and they were.
So I might need to ask my teacher about that.
Honestly, it's probably, especially if your teacher's like less than 50 years old, probably won't remember.
He's older than that. He has to be. I bet.
He's saying you're old, Mister. Anyway. But yeah, I mean, I remember a little bit about the name. The first time I heard the name in the game, it kind of I remember there was some historical significance with it. Didn't realize that
they were still around.
They're still around. It's
now see, they're owned by a Swedish company. That's the thing.
Really?
Yes, they're based in Sweden, I do believe.
That part I didn't hear about, but that's
interesting. Like a lot of this I've talked to Sidious about. They are actually based off in Sweden. You want me to pull up the article? Or?
Oh, you can if you want. Yeah. Open link there. But I mean, that's the thing is that they've been prominently used before in other video games and other movies. And
now, see, I've only really heard about them with Red Dead. Maybe if that's because I don't pay attention to many details.
Well, and that's the thing. And basically what the Pinkertons were, they were a historical kind of private. Let's call it U.S. Marshal type of thing.
They're an investigation company.
But they almost was like they had almost like U.S. Marshal
bounty hunter.
Right. They had those type of credentials, and they worked for the government.
They could get anywhere they needed to with no problem.
Yeah, they had government oversight, if you will, on a lot of things back in the Wild West days. And
late 19th century, early 20th.
So, I mean, that's the thing. It boggles my mind that A, that sort of even still exists, and B.
And see, they're probably not even that big anymore.
Yeah. Let's see. Apparently, according to we're looking at an Engadget article talking about this. It said Pinkerton made clear that it wanted money in the request.
Lump sum figure.
It was happy to talk
about.
How
many figures were they talking?
Oh, I'm sure it was huge, considering how big Red Dead Redemption. And I don't know if they talk about it in that article, but I saw the rebuttal from Rockstar, and they pretty much told him to go take a flying leap.
I do believe it's like later on in the whole thing.
They did
bit more.
They pretty much told him to go suck it.
Is that it? No, I guess that was it.
Yeah, like I said, I've read several articles about it. So
well, now the thing was, it's been used in pop culture more times apparently than I can count. Yeah, recreation of the 19th century frontier. It was the game of Red Dead Redemption 2 is a historically accurate game, so they were trying to put as much as they could from the 19th century to early 20th century in the game as they could.
Yeah, and
I mean they've been the Pinkertons have appeared in HBO's Deadwood, movies like The American Outlaws, Long Riders, and not to mention other games such as BioShock Infinite, actually. The protagonist was an ex-Pinkerton agent, which I did not know that.
You know...
What was his name?
Oh, Daryl DeWitt? Something DeWitt?
I think. It's been so long since I played Infinite.
My God, yeah, it has been a while, and that was a really awesome game, by the way.
Yeah, I love playing it all the way through.
And I didn't until I had read that article. I hadn't really
thought about it.
I hadn't thought about that, but then I was like, oh yeah, that's right. They did make a kind of a sly comment to the fact that he had been a. See,
I thought he had just got out of the agency, and then that's when that all started.
No, because he had his own private. He was a private detective. That's how the beginning of the story sort of starts. But there were, like I said, there was a comment to the effect of him being an ex Pinkerton agent. So, like I said, it was kind of funny, but yeah, I really expect that Rockstar is going to win this. I think it's going to get through.
Well, it's kind of if you're coming after one of us, you're coming after all of us,
right?
Type of deal.
And that was.
And I don't think a company in Sweden is going to sue literally almost everything historically accurate from that time frame that America has put out.
And I really just, like I said, the response. I check that other link and see if the response. I'd really love to read.
Which one? This one?
No. In the Google Doc.
I don't think you. Yeah, you
did
didn't. No, you didn't put one.
Oh, didn't. Oh, damn! I'd love to have I'd love to read the rebuttal. Like I said, it was a Leganese version.
We should call this part 1 and come out with part 2 next week.
Yeah, it was a Leganese version of "Go Suck It," big wang. I mean, it was that. It was
D-Generation X.
Yeah,
Suck it.
It was absolutely. That's exactly what it was. And I just love it. So let's get into the review. So this will be a spoiler-free review. So don't worry about
on what?
for the most part of spoilers. We're not really gonna talk about characters. What we're gonna talk about is how much we enjoy the game, the gameplay, problems that we've had with the game.
Oh, for Red Dead?
Yes.
Okay.
So we will not. At one point,
I will try not to spoil.
Yeah, we will do what we can not to spoil. I won't guarantee there won't be little, but we're gonna.
By the time we finish it, most people overall should have finished it.
Yeah, you should.
So I should not have to worry about spoilers at that point.
Yeah,
but
by
right now, I know some people are still playing it, just like we are. So
yeah, and it's one of those things. It's you want to. Well, you can really hear that, can't you?
Yeah, just a little. You are not silent about that at all.
No, not at all. Anyway, I was getting candy for anybody that's on the audio podcast. I'm sure you heard the little crackle of.
I heard that through the headphones.
I did too. It's always weird. These microphones are.
See, I don't even think it was the microphones that picked up. I just thought I actually.
No. The microphones are actually picking it up. It's interesting. These microphones they're piles, but they're basically they're Shure SM58s, and I've used SM58s before. These microphones pick up the weirdest sounds. Like they pick up background noise that I have never seen another microphone like this do. I need to break down and buy one Shure 58 just to see what the difference is. But like I said, I've done audio for live audio, and I've used SM58s for everything. But these things are, an SM58 can run you almost $100 a microphone, and these are like $15 a microphone. So for what we're doing, it's just not conducive. You hear the dogs. They're having a fit about something. So spoiler-free review.
We will try.
So overall gameplay for you, how do you feel about the game?
I actually really like it. Trees get in my darn way sometimes.
Trees.
And see, the trains snapped my horse's neck.
Really?
On stream, I do believe.
Oh.
Snapped, like I was chasing one guy to collect the debt. And this isn't even really part of the main story, so
yeah, don't go into. I'm just saying
yeah,
overall.
Train literally snapped my horse's neck,
but
that was my only horse at the time.
Yeah, I mean,
I had to run back to base.
Overall, I'm enjoying the game. I'm enjoying the story, the main part of the story, but I'm having a lot of odd difficulties. Partly is the inventory management system.
Yes, I do not like that system.
It is highly overcomplicated for no reason.
Trying to find my guns half the time gets annoying.
Yeah, it at least most of the time, you get the pause part of the menu when you try to switch weapons. But
at least you don't have to change out your pistols all the time because those stay exactly how you want them.
Well, and that's part of the problem is like
it's just you can't fully
when you put away a weapon and then you try to pull out another weapon.
You can't really pull or set up a specific loadout. Right?
Yeah, it with the exception with the exception of the pistols, and even the pistols because you can dual wield pistols. You can't there's a button on Xbox. It's the left upper bumper button, and half the time it'll pull out a weapon. Other half the time you have to hit that, then hit trigger to pull a weapon to point. Which to me, if you're just pulling out a weapon,
it's usually you try to aim down sights.
No, when you're on a horse and you and the thing is, it doesn't do it all the time.
It usually works for me
like
all the time.
99% of the time. It'll say aim weapon. You can hit the bumper, which will choose your weapon, which never chooses the last weapon you used. That's the thing that pisses me off.
My thing is, it always chooses the first one that I had, and I'm like, okay, I want the second one, and I want the last one.
Yeah, see, it never chooses if I had just had a rifle out, it never chooses a rifle. It always chooses a pistol. Or
we'll see, because And what I like to do whenever I get into the horse is I always quickly set up my loadout and then I head out on whatever adventure I want to do at that very moment.
But ultimately, I have the same problem because when you go back, even when you're holding down the button to go in the menu to choose your weapon, because the weapon wheel lets you choose different. So they're like rifles and shotguns will be kind of together.
Rifles, bows, snipers,
and so you go to choose, let's say, between a shotgun and a rifle. You have to scroll through all the time. It's never the last one you used. It's never the right one. It's never the one you use the most. With that also said, I absolutely hate the weapon storage. I have no desire to collect every effing weapon in the game. None. I want a good set of weapons. I want to toss the ones I don't want. I should be able to pick up weapons and sell them. Being that the whole steal or buy and sell is a big part of the game, and not being able to do that with weapons makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Now, I kind of understand because you don't have a wagon really per se in the game to kind of hold those weapons to transport them to a gun shop or whatnot. My thing is, where does he hide all these things? And that's really...
Well,
I mean, really, you're talking maybe, 10, 15 weapons?
Well, and then the other problem...
He would be walking in like Rambo on a Sunday night, just, hey, how you doing?
Well, speaking of the Rambo thing, that's another thing that ticks me off, okay? Sometimes you can get off your horse and you got your rifles and stuff on your back, your repeater, which is probably the weapon I use the most in the game is the repeater.
Lancaster.
I
use carbine.
And
Lancaster.
And you get into a firefight mission that sets you up for that, or that trigger. Like if there was one scene where I walked into a town and I got ambushed by the town. And not to, it's not giving spoilers.
I know which one you're talking
about. You know what one I'm talking about.
Wait, no, there's one. No, there's a few that might be it.
It's the specific one at the end of chapter 3. You know which one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, okay.
Okay, so you start to walk in.
See, I had all my weapons with that one,
and I didn't have half my rifles. Or I didn't have my rifles.
See, second I got off my horse, I made sure I had my weapons.
Well, that was the problem. I walked just enough in that it auto triggered to kick me off the horse and to walk into town. So
see, I was already in town. I just went off to the side.
See, I didn't get the option once I triggered into the cutscene. I was screwed.
Well, yeah, because that cutscene walks you all the way across town.
That's what I'm saying. I triggered it on the horse by accident. Or actually, the one of the characters triggered it, and I didn't realize that we were coming into that trigger. If I'd known, I would have gotten off earlier and pulled the weapon.
You kind of go from the one mission to the next, and it's kind of no downtime.
You go into go here situation, and then the moment you reach there with your companions, it triggers a cutscene. Well, the problem was it triggered that cutscene and didn't give me.
You weren't ready for it. I was.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for that. So I basically walked in with a set of pistols and some really. I think I may have had the sniper, which was the
rolling block,
which was the wrong weapon for the city.
Oh yeah, no, that
city fight.
Well, just with how small that. With that town, it was a horrible weapon.
Yeah, it was absolutely.
Other towns, it'd be fine.
Snipers are also a big pain in my behind.
I like them. I put scopes on all my weapons.
I agree. I put scopes on. My problem is that when you pull them out, if you forget to turn the scope off,
I have had that problem.
It instantly triggers you back into a scope mode, and if you're kind of in a because there's some weapons that can be sniper-ish, but not necessarily be a sniper.
Now, see, have you shot anyone like up close? Like they've come at you with like a knife, and you just happen to pull out your pistol, with it, and bam.
Oh yeah,
they're down on the ground.
Or they got close enough. I punched them and then shot them in the head. That's kind of fun.
Oh, I've kind of done like the right hook. They're kind of down.
Right.
Boom, boom.
Right in the head. Yeah.
Well, 2 shots to the chest is what my Arthur likes to do.
Yeah, and there was a lot of fun stuff about the game. But my other problem also has
shoot
to
up in the air and 2 ducks come falling.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Red Dead Redemption. It does a lot of weird things in the respect of, like, the
You would never guess.
Yeah, the horse poops everywhere. Like he said, you shoot up in the air randomly, and 2 ducks will fall. I mean, it's not guaranteed that we'll do that, but the game will anticipate weird things that you might do. You accidentally shoot your weapon at a certain thing, and which I made.
Boom.
Yeah, I made the horrible mistake of that.
Were you standing next to something and
that I didn't realize was explosive? Yes, and I went boom, and I
you
went.
thought you had a clear
boom,
shot?
And I caught fire, and I was
you
like,
thought you had a clear shot of someone.
Right.
You tried to take the shot, end up hitting the barrel. Goodbye. They like to hide the red barrels and boxes.
Like I said, the inventory system is complete shit. Absolutely.
Now see if you can sell and use
the
and
management of the
enough,
management system
fine.
of it. The how much you can keep of certain items kind of sucks. Like,
well, it's 3 of most stuff, and then for Deadeye, it's a lot of 10s.
Yeah,
they anticipate you using Deadeye more than anything else.
Yeah, it really is overly complicated. And then there's like, well, you got to hold down X. Well, in this situation, you got to hold down Y. And this whole, it's like, Jiminy Christmas, just
it's
let
like
me
to
tap.
examine. You have to hold down Y to interact. You have to hold down X.
Yeah, to take something from a drawer, you got to perform 5 actions. Okay, and you got to. The worst part is you go in and if there's multiple drawers, you have to obviously open each drawer.
Open.
And but then let's say there one item or one drawer has 3 items, then you have to hold down take, and then you have to hold down take.
And God forbid you leave something open when you are robbing a house, and then you walk out without any suspicion, and then next thing you know, you're being shot at and chased.
The other problem I've had, and you guys have not had this problem, you are Sidious.
Like, the high bounties.
Yeah, I have been really raked over the coals. I have raked over the coals about the bounties. So whenever you do something,
Mr. if it's not $300 a bounty, it ain't anything.
Right. Basically, anytime you do something illegal in or near a certain area, and you get caught, you'll end up with a bounty on your head, and you have to pay the bounty.
If you don't die.
If well, I'm told even if you die, the bounty stays.
No, I've been killed with a $100 bounty on my head, and it's dropped.
Well, if I'd known that, I would have just got myself killed. That's pretty much.
But the thing is, they take a lump sum of your money at the time. Now, if you're completely and utterly broke, go right ahead. But if you're like me with $2,000 on my body, I don't want my money gone.
Yeah. So I
might as well go.
There was
rob
there was one, and don't get me wrong, I shot the whole freaking town though. I was.
I painted it red.
And I ended up with a.
You said about $600 bounty.
I think it was $600 or $650 bounty. And
Which one was it? The first one?
It wasn't the first one.
Okay, so
it was the little mountain town that I shot up when we had to rescue the one guy.
Was it far west, left side of the map?
Kind of north, northwest.
Northwest. I don't know any towns northwest.
It's the one where you have to rescue the guy from jail.
Southwest.
No, that's the second one.
No, that's the first one. It's west. It's New Elizabeth.
It's the mountain town.
West. It's the west town. It's the western town.
And the other thing for me is also just there are a lot of things you can do, and then there are a bunch of things you can't do that just don't make sense. Like they overcomplicate everything.
Now, what have you tried to do that you can't?
Well, it's like when you go hunting, you gotta have the exact right rifle, and you have to have the right bait, and you have to
you don't have to, but if you want to keep it the same like rarity, like perfect, average, or perfect, good, or poor, you have to use that type of rifle. And usually you can hit the info button, which is usually like RB or something, and read. And yeah, reading's part of the game because you have to read to interact with a lot of stuff. And go, okay, this is what I need if I want to either craft this item that's going to help me out later on, make it farther without dying, or just whatever you need to do.
I like the fact that you don't you don't have to craft.
Yeah, you don't have to. You can find stuff randomly throughout, or you can buy it. But you can craft with the random meats you find out throughout the world. And
here's my only problem with crafting, and this was specifically with your camp.
okay. Now, base camp or small camp?
No, I'm talking about base camp.
Okay.
A lot of the things you got to have like a perfect this and a perfect that, and which are difficult items to get because you really have to follow a set of rules to get that perfect item or items.
They never said it was going to be easy.
But the things are so ridiculously stupid cosmetics for the base camp. Like they provide no special, like they don't provide a bonus. They don't provide. Well, you get your people are 10% happier, which is the whole camp being happy thing is I think stupid. It's poorly implemented in the game.
Okay, would you rather have a morale of happy outlaws or
but you can do
mad camp?
You can do a bunch of
outlaws that will literally kill you no matter what if they need to.
Well, the thing is, you can do whatever you need to do and keep the camp really happy, and which is not hard. But to do those little stupid,
truthfully, there's only like 1 or 2 characters in the whole camp that you need to keep happy.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous. Now, my last big complaint about Red Dead Redemption 2 is the money system. The camp money system specifically. So,
okay, donating items or donating money? Well,
I'll get to that in just a moment. So, for anybody, obviously, if anybody hasn't played it, and this is not a spoiler. There is kind of a pool of money for the camp. They basically anything that you do in the game, 50% of that goes to the camp OG funds. You know, it gets put back in funds that are not available to anybody. Then the rest of
there's a camp share, a gang share, and your share.
Right. So 50% off the top goes into the camp share. Then half of that goes to you. Now, part of the whole game, and one of the main characters will keep iterating that, hey, you need to help out. You people need to help out. You need to donate, because then it wants you to take your money and donate it to the day-to-day camp fund. Okay, which is how you do things like camp upgrades, restocking your camp with supplies, things like that.
My camp's fully upgraded.
Mine is too. But the thing is, I paid for it. You look at, there's a ledger that goes through and says, hey, who's donated this? And I've done some big gigs where these guys should have chipped in something, and I'm not seeing their name on that ledger at all.
Now, see, I usually ask the one guy and like, oh, hey, did so-and-so pour in any money today? Because he was supposed to. No, I haven't seen him anywhere today.
Yeah, I haven't had that particular dialogue, but
I don't know if you've done the specific mission for it.
Maybe not, but it is so annoying that as a character you're trying to buy weapons, you're trying to keep yourself supplied. You're like, I want to buy.
I keep myself.
A new horse is coming. That's my next big buy. But it's like
I've had the same horse since the
initial one you bought.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and yet
I'm still on that one too.
I've not had any problems with that horse. I kind of like it. I've
had problems with that horse.
Racehorse.
Yeah, I've had a problem with that horse. It never wants
to go the direction you want to go.
No, it never wants to like it's supposed to be a racehorse, but it's like everything that chases me, even when I'm at full speed, outruns you.
No, I can outrun them.
Yeah, I've for some reason that horse is just.
I've learned the tricks of the tappy tap.
Yeah, it's.
You do know that if you can tap at the right pace,
I know.
It will lessen how much you drain of your stamina.
And I don't necessarily have the problem with the stamina, and that's kind of the other thing is, like both your horse and you have health stats, Deadeye, stamina.
The horse has Deadeye? Wait, what?
Well, you have Deadeye, but each one, both you and your horse have different. Different stats that you have to maintain, whether with food, whether with smoking cigarettes.
And if your character gets like too low on weight, he will take more damage per shot, which I keep my character pretty average weight.
I've struggled a little bit, even though I feed him all the time.
See, biscuits and meat.
Yeah, it's
That's been the main diet, and beans for
Yeah.
my character.
So, but I mean, overall, like I said, I'm enjoying the game. It does have some really annoying, like there's some stuff in there that just makes no sense as far, like I said, as far as like the.
Now, see, have you tried the online mode?
I've avoided the online mode, but
I've tried a little bit of it.
me and Doc were or Sidious was kind of joking that we were gonna
Wait till
meeting. His aunt or my sister-in-law does the Russian fishing thing. So we were wondering if we could go in and just sit and fish, do streams with fishing and Red Dead Redemption all day.
You could, but I have done the online. Dirty Dan is there. That is my character's name, Dirty Dan.
Dirty Dan.
I know I'm Dirty Dan.
Sorry, that's a SpongeBob reference.
And he looks exactly what me and Nash would classify as a Dirty Dan of the late 19th century. It's funny to look at. And I have done the Gun Rush Battle Royale mode with him. I will say that Battle Royale mode is interesting with the way they do it, but it's definitely an experience you have to try. It's not your typical Battle Royale.
All right. I think we talked at least enough about Red Dead. We will ultimately, once we both finish the game, which I'm probably going to do it before you, the way that things are working out now.
Don't get your hopes up.
We're gonna go over this next one pretty quick because we're rolling pretty heavy on the time. Mortal Kombat 11 reveal, and this is a game I'm sure we're gonna talk more about in the future.
Oh, definitely. Considering I think you played a good bit of Mortal Kombat in your time, I played a decent amount.
I played a lot of old school, and the big thing with it back when I was a kid, and this would be younger.
Cyrax.
This was younger than you. The thing that has always been about Mortal Kombat is it has been a game that, as a kid you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I'm getting to play this. It's so gory and I can't.
It's not your typical.
Yeah, it's not your typical
fighter game.
Yeah, it's not your typical fighter game. It's horribly gory and.
But that's the best part.
That is the best part, and that
and some of the costumes.
Another YouTube Boogie2988 described it as South Park for video games. I kind of
agree with that.
I kind of half agree with that.
I looking at it now, I'm like, that's kind of true.
Yeah, there's some half truth into that. So there was the big hoopla. And a lot of people have been talking about how it is a lot like Injustice 2, which is...
Now, see, I think I played, like, the demo for Injustice 2. I never really got into Injustice. It was never really a big game for me. I
haven't done Mortal Kombat as a game. Like, everyone...
I like Mortal Kombat.
It's one of those things, like, if a friend happens to have it and he wants to sit down and play, I'll play. But I suck at it. I mean,
It's a game I would play and try to beat my cousin at.
Yeah, I just, it's not a game like I actively, like I don't buy every one that comes out. If I don't play it, I don't play it. I don't really care. But I do
actually, that might be a game that we could do for 12 Hour.
Not going to be out in time for that.
No, X.
Oh, do we have X?
Game Pass.
Is it on Game Pass?
Yes.
Maybe. Okay, we'll talk about that.
Bracket system.
Yeah, so it's got the standard, from what we've seen, it's got the standard tower fight. They kind of changed up the X-ray with, excuse me.
Now, see, I do not agree with this.
With the new Fatal Blow, which basically is a special move that triggers whenever your health is below a certain percentage. I think it's 30% is what.
See, I like using that move whenever I can in the game, not just straight up, I have 30% health. I need to use this before I die.
Trust me, I've seen some pretty fanatical.
Like my biggest character that I like to use is Cyrax whenever I can. Of course, you don't know him.
Oh, I know who Cyrax is. That's an old character.
He's one of my favorites.
So the roster so far,
Baraka, he's coming back.
Cassie Cage, Jaros.
I never heard of Jaros.
He's a new character. I know he's new.
Katana. I've heard of her. Kung Lao's been a good one. Chronica?
I don't know who that is. That might
Liu
be
Kang.
Liu Kang, Raiden's
been
Scorpion,
there since the start. Scorpion.
Shao Kahn, Scarlet. I think a new one.
I have not heard of Scarlet.
I think it's a new. I'm pretty sure it's a
Sonya
new
Blade
one.
is one of the OGs. Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Raiden, Liu Kang, and Sonya. You can't really have a game without them.
Yeah, they're pretty well staple in the character, and apparently Ronda Rousey is playing the voice of Sonya Blade.
Holy crap!
Yeah, apparently in the big announcement thing.
Well,
they
you need
brought
a
her
strong female behind the strong female character.
You know what? A lot of people give Ronda Rousey crap. She's
about how her past is gone.
Right. She's a former UFC
actor,
fighter.
UFC fighter, WWE voice actor.
Yeah, she's a WWE
she's racking
superstar
up
right now.
the stuff on her resume.
Yeah, she's definitely expanding her resume, I will say. But she seems like a really, like there's nothing for me that says like there's anything wrong with her. Everything that I've ever heard about her says she's a nice person. She's easy to work with. She's down to earth. She's not stuck up or anything like that. So, people want to give her crap about her losses in the UFC, but she had a pretty good record in the UFC, and you know what I mean. She was.
What was she champion up until when she resigned?
Yeah, I think she was. Well, not up to, but she ultimately lost the last couple matches of her career, and but I mean, like I said, there's nothing for me that says that to any reason I would ridicule her for. I haven't watched anything with her in the WWE.
All I know is I did see the one appearance with her and The Rock going against Triple H and McMahon's daughter.
That'd be fun to watch. But
it's already happened. And
I am so out of the I used to be a diehard WWE fan. And
Generation X.
Yeah, I'm Attitude Era WWF type of kid, and unfortunately,
that's you.
For me,
I grew up with it, and then we kind of stopped.
Yeah, I stopped watching it. It just becomes so repetitive.
Stopped when Triple H, what were they called?
The Authority?
The Authority was a big thing.
Yeah.
It was Shield, the Authority.
I want to say 2, maybe 3 years now we've not watched.
I mean, we catch snippets here and there. It was kind of big when Randy Orton and
But anyway, so we're gonna kind of move on. We'll talk more about Mortal Kombat as we learn from the things. We are gonna skip the Radeon update. We are gonna talk about the pizza vending machine. Now, vending machines of this type are pretty common in other countries. So, Japan, China.
Yeah, I know Japan has some like these.
Ridiculous. They will almost make anything in a vending machine. I mean, you can literally order a full meal.
Well, everything with that is it has to.
And so Ohio State just got a new pizza machine, and it does a 10-inch pizza, and it cooks in about 4 minutes or so. Which I really, really, really wish. Unfortunately, you have to be a student or have a special student pass to get into where this thing is. I'm just curious how good the pizza is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like cardboard pizza category. But I guess you're pretty much your choices are pepperoni or cheese. There's really no choice one way or the other. But I also wonder how many pizzas you can fit into this machine at one time.
Well, I've seen some go up to at least 3 orders per.
Yeah, and like I said, these things are becoming more and more common. You're seeing them all over, especially.
And see, with Japan, it's like everyone's on the go quickly.
Well, yeah, they literally walk down the street in Japan and in China and stuff like that, and you can find these type of vending machines. But it's something cool, something new, and like I said, if we ever get a chance, we're going to have to try to see if we can hit that up and record it. That'd be pretty cool,
if ever.
Yeah. So like I said, we're gonna skip the Radeon. The TLDR, basically what we were going to talk about is it looks like it's going to be a very limited card. Right now rumors are saying 5,000 units, and that's the big thing. So that's where we're going to end the podcast this week. Check us out on Tuesdays about 8 p.m. ish Eastern Standard Time.
Is when we go live.
Yep. And we're here on his channel on twitch.tv/SpiderARA713. You can find us on social media. I'm at MyDoneLife on both Instagram and Twitter.
And I am at SpiderArray713 on Twitter and SpidersNest713 on Instagram. Make sure to hit us up if you have any questions.
Yep, and you can find us now on pretty much most major podcast apps: Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, et cetera, et cetera. Again, we're gonna have a live stream giveaway February 2nd. It's gonna start around noonish Eastern Standard Time, and then at some point we're probably gonna do a special podcast that week, and we'll also be playing games pretty much the whole afternoon. It'll be about a 12-hour stream. So from about noon to midnight, and it'll be a lot of fun. I think we'll have some fun playing through the ages. So I want to thank everybody for joining us today.
There will be some rages in that stream.
Yes, no guarantees. Yeah, no guarantees that a controller will not be thrown
at me.
Yeah, probably. So thank you for joining us. Have a great day. Have a great week, and we'll catch you later.
See y'all.